Welcome back to Mobile Mornings on FM Talk 1065. And it's that time of month again. It's Law 251, and our good friend Brian Comer has joined us once again in studio here. And it's a new year. Welcome, Brian. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Dalton. Thanks for having me.
We've had some great conversations over the last couple of years about a number of different things. And what better time than a new year? Everyone's making resolutions, but to start fresh might be the wrong way to say this, but to make sure you're set up and ready for a safe 2023. So you recommended, hey, why don't we make a safety checklist for this year and talk about some of the things you need to keep in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. That whole new year, new you. Well, there's no better time than the new year to do kind of a check of where you are with everything and make sure that your house is in order, so to speak.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea. It's something I need to get on top of right now. And one of the first things you brought up when we were talking about this safety checklist is insurance. Check your insurance that you hopefully already have, and check to see that you are covered for what you need to and want to be covered for. And one of those things we've discussed is uninsured motorist coverage.
Yeah, that's right. And not to get into some boring insurance discussion here, but people can look at something called their declarations page. And anytime you buy a policy of insurance, whether it's your homeowner's coverage, whether it's your auto, you're going to have a declarations page, and it's going to declare what coverages you have. So in an auto policy, you've got the liability coverage. That's what the state law requires you to have. But if you look down to, sometimes it's listed as U, sometimes it's UM or UIM. That's all the same thing. Uninsured motorist, underinsured motorist coverage. It's the same thing, and it covers you if somebody else causes a wreck. It's not your fault, and they either don't have insurance or don't have enough insurance to make you whole for medical bills, pain and suffering, things like that. And so you can look at your policy immediately, look at your declarations page, and see exactly what coverage you have. And it's important to note there's two different numbers. You'll see a first number / a second number.
Okay.
And so the first number means that's the limit per person, and the second number is the limit per accident. And so for UM coverage, if somebody had $100,000 / $300,000, that would be $100,000 per person up to $300,000 per wreck, and then that's per each vehicle insured under the policy. So you can put those together.
Yeah, you made that easy to understand. And we've talked about it before, how vitally important uninsured motorist coverage is. That's fantastic. I guess that'd be on some of the paperwork you get when you sign up for that insurance, or you could probably just call the office and they'll send it over to you, right?
Absolutely. They have to produce the declarations page when they provide the policy. But if you're like me, have no idea what my policy is, you can check with your agent, or some of the companies even have apps and all your documentation's right there.
Oh yeah, that's easy. So you're catching on to me. I don't have my declaration page with me right now either. Another big one here, and this is, well, it's always in the news, but recently I'm thinking about this weighted blanket for children that was recalled after a few accidents. Check for product recalls and sign up for manufacturer recalls. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've talked before, anytime a product is defective and can hurt somebody, obviously we want to know that, particularly if we're going to expose our families to a product, whether we were talking a minute ago about a gas range that could pump carbon monoxide into our house.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be aware of that sort of thing. And the Consumer Product Safety Commission has a great website, cpsc.gov, and you can check for recalls. It's their website /recalls. And you can find out if a product has been recalled. But when you buy a product, go ahead and register it with them. And then that way, or with the manufacturer rather, and then that way, if there is a recall, you'll get notice of it and can take steps for it.
Yeah, instead of just throwing that right on out with the rest of the box once you unpack it for Christmas. Go ahead and take care of business. How about this one? I know Sean Sullivan's listening right now. He agrees wholeheartedly. Get that boat ready. Have some safety items for your boat, and this could probably apply to cars for car trips too, but make sure you're stocked and ready for safety precautions if you go out on the water.
Yeah, absolutely. And particularly if people maybe have put the boat in dry dock, so to speak, for the winter, what little bit of winter we've had. If you haven't been boating, it's always a good idea before you start back again to make sure you've got a fire extinguisher and it's properly charged. You've got your life jackets and they're there, as opposed to getting out on the water and needing it and going, no, shoot, we don't have these. And then it's too late. But so, before you're going to be putting it in, go ahead and take a Saturday afternoon and just go through the boat and make sure you got what you need.
Yeah, and just the same with vehicles, which you probably use a lot more often than the boat, depending on where you live, of course. Safety check that vehicle. Tires are a big one, especially winter, coming out of winter, going back into winter. I mean, it's back and forth week after week here. The tire pressure changes, of course, but other vehicle parts, Takata airbags, still in the news.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that goes hand in hand with checking for the recalls. But you want to always make sure, and the new year is just a good time to take stock of everything, right? And so that's equally important for the car. Make sure, your oil's been changed. Make sure, you don't need brakes. Make sure your tires are rotated and balanced, those sorts of things, and make sure that your insurance is up to date.
Yeah, also, those tools that cut the seat belt and can open the window if you need it, those are crucial and, very easy to buy, and one little thing that all you need in case something like that happens to you.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because, listening to this right now, when you get where you're going, stop, pull that up, and go ahead and order it. And then when it comes in, just stick it in your dash, stick it in your glove compartment.
Yeah,
and then it's there.
Easy enough these days to just go ahead and order it. And we have enough water around us that might be necessary for you one of these days. And also this one, it'll be huge for me in about a decade, a little later than a decade, but talk to those new drivers, those teenagers in your house. Make sure they know the right way to drive. My dad always told me you could be right, you could be dead right. So not only do they need to know the rules of the road, but also how to be aware of other people who aren't following the rules of the road.
That's right. And if your teens are anything like I was when I was a teenager, if you've just told them, tell them again, and then tell them again. It's always important to make sure that they understand, because, I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof when I was a teenager, and you want to make sure that they understand that they are doing things the right way, that they are driving defensively, thinking about other drivers, and then what are they going to do if presented with a situation. So.
And a big part of that, too, you're dealing with it, I'm dealing with it, is when you have them in your car, they're soaking everything up, so you have to show proper driver etiquette, too, all the time.
Absolutely. They're always watching. You know that with yours, and mine do the same, and you want to be a good example, and the best way to do that is to show by example.
Oh, that's some great ideas here, some great tips. I think this is something that a lot of people can take with them into this new year as we start 2023 off the right way. Brian, you always have all kinds of fantastic information, and the work you guys do at Tobias and Comer Law. I can't thank you enough for what you do for the community and for what you do here for us, letting us know about all this great stuff and how to be prepared for anything that comes our way.
Well, thank you, Dalton. I mean, we live here, our kids go to school here, and we try to be good members of the community. So we appreciate the opportunity to get the message out.
You have a great website, tobiascomerlaw.com. Also, the number listed there for free consultations 24/7 that people can check out and then call if they feel they may have a case. You guys have been doing great work in Mobile and the surrounding areas for decades. Brian, thank you again. Happy New Year, and appreciate you coming in again for Law 251.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dalton. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Law 251, once again, Brian Comer in studio with us, and we'll leave that right there and head on over to the Jeff Poor Show coming up here in just a few minutes. Again, tobiascomerlaw.com. Check it out. A fantastic website. And you can also check out the video podcasts of Law 251 there as well. Have a good one. Jeff Poor Show on the way next.